My next guest is a music artist who is working to get city residents more involved in local elections. Please welcome C Sharp to the show. Thank you for being here.
How you doing?
And I can't think today, March 15th, of a better day to be talking about voting. You obviously, as we look at you, I see the stickers, you went out and voted. So let's talk about this. I mean, this is a hot year to be talking about politics and voting in particular. But what is it that you're trying to do? What's your aim to do?
Well, I mean, the aim is to get people to understand, what kind of power that they have when you come together collectively, Voting is something that's usually, become frowned upon, in our society and how people feel about it lately. So, I'm just trying to change the philosophy, change the perspective of people.
Well, let's talk about that. I mean, you say that it's been frowned upon. I mean, in what way? Because when I think about voting, I think about my parents' generation and people who fought for the right to vote. And so it's extremely important. But when you say that, particularly maybe with young people, that it's frowned upon, why? Or what's frowned upon exactly?
Well, because that idealism was never really passed down. That was like a generational thing, kind of like manners, how it's been passed down. So, voting is something that young people really have to understand, that if we really want to start evolving as a city and as a community, those are the things. It's just a piece of the process, though. It's just a piece of the process, but that's a very, very important part of the process, which is getting involved in not just what we're doing nationally, but paying attention and having some type of civic responsibility in what we're doing locally as well.
Where do you think the disconnect is when people sort of complain about what's going on in their community, or they're complaining about government, but then they're not making the connection that to do something about it, you have to put people who are in elected positions, you have to put them there or take them out, that the individual has the power to do that. Where is that disconnect happening, do you think?
Well, I mean, I think the disconnect is happening because we're putting too much responsibility on politicians and not enough back on us as people, taking the initiative to clean up your neighborhood yourself, or taking the initiative to have neighborhood meetings or committee meetings yourself, or instead of waiting on some politician to come down from whatever plateau or whatever platform that they're on to tell you what is the next step, what's the next move. That's something that we need to be developing as a community ourselves. So I think that's where the disconnect comes in, because people are looking for the answers when really they already are the answer.
We've got this, you've got this hashtag Youturn 16, and we've got a graphic for it, Youturn 2016. What exactly is that?
Well, the Youturn is I think it's the ultimate community project. When you talk about people who do IT, to people who do community work, leg work, grassroots work, or any type of mentor, volunteer type group or organization, I'm asking everybody to come together with their strength and, whatever you have to contribute to ultimately increasing the voter turnout. And, so far I've had the luxury of going to a lot of different committee meetings, and, a lot of different aldermen, they're surprised when they see me, coming to their neighborhood. But it's a serious thing, and I'm doing what I can as an artist to, not only publicize it and promote it, broadcast it, through media, but also be that physical presence there that can hopefully give people just a different idea of how to approach something.
No, it's really refreshing seeing you here, and I think part of it obviously is your youth. It's really great to see, you always hear about on college campuses young people being involved, but I mean on a really community grassroots level. I mean, you talked about when you walk into the room, what is the response that people have to you?
What are you doing here? What are you doing here? I'm surprised to see you here, and I mean that's a good thing too, because that lets me know that we're excited that you're excited about getting involved, that you're enthusiastic about getting involved. So, yeah, I mean, it's always a warm response. Nobody's looking at me out the corner of their eyes or anything like that. So, I have a lot of respect for, the aldermen and just elected officials, period, and what they do and what they go through. And, we've just been through a lot as a city. When we talk about protests, we talk about civil disobedience, unrest, that's still just a third of what we call change, and ultimately the next step would be voter participation.
Yeah, no, you've got to see it. You've got to see it all the way through. Well, we're going to continue this discussion. We're going to take a quick break. I want to show you before we leave this graphic. If you want to learn more about what C Sharp is doing, you can head to his Facebook page. That's facebook.com and /C Sharp 314 or hashtag Youturn 16. We've got it up on the screen as Youturn 2016, but it's hashtag Youturn 16. But we're going to take a quick break, and we've got more with C Sharp right after this.